Hi everyone, so I'm just going to put some makeup on and then I'm also going to hopefully do a foundation swatch video and with some of these things, so I'm just going to start and not talk.
So I thought that I was going to just do music or something, but then I decided I'll just chat since it's been a little while since I did a video. You may or may not be able to tell that I'm still kind of in recovery from that flu. Still coughing a lot, but less so than like I can actually get through reading a book to one of my kiddos without like going into a coughing fit, which is kind of nice. So anyway, so I use the Urban Decay Primer Potion in Enigma, and I am using the Makeup Geek's Shadow Desert Sands right now. I do this look pretty often when I don't really have an idea of what I want to do with my face, and so really super simple. I don't know if it looks amazing, but I like it. I'm really into the kind of mustard tones lately, like that pillow you see in my background right there. And then on the lid, I use Makeup Geek's shadow in MagicAct, which is one of the foiled shadows. I do have issues with this creasing, so I found that I get better performance if I use a very non-moisturizing, like nothing moisturizing on my eyelids. So something that is like very matte as far as my SPF goes. Then I get a little bit better of wear and less creasing, but it does tend to kind of travel up into my crease and whatnot. I don't mind. It looks kind of a little messy, and that's fine with me. By the way, this brush is that Sephora Pro 10 crease brush. If it ever comes back, because I'm pretty sure it was discontinued and then it was on sale for a long time. If it comes back, I'm totally getting another one. And I would recommend you get one too. It is just, I feel like my makeup always looks better when I put it on. So I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus concealer in light ivory. This is definitely more of a corrector shade. It's quite a bit darker than the Porcelain foundation shade, which is fine with me. I tend to like a little bit darker color under my eyes anyway because it corrects and it brightens. And somehow it just looks good even though the foundation is lighter. I don't know. It's kind of magical how that works. Like using just a corrector without a concealer still looks good. Um, I like this. It will crease a little if I don't set it. I have to be careful not to use too much, just the right amount, and it won't crease much without powdering, which I didn't powder today. It does have a little bit of a slightly tacky finish if you don't powder it, but it's not like super rich, moisturizing-y, whatever. So I'm also using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in Porcelain, like I mentioned. This is a really nice foundation. It's very light, especially for a drugstore line, and it's light and more yellow toned, which is exactly what I like just because I have yellow undertones plus I have redness that I'm trying to cancel out. So it's just a really nice mix. Today I put on more coverage than I normally would. Usually I go for between like light to medium, and I feel like today I did more medium coverage. I also wasn't really looking at a mirror except for the one that was like really far away. So I think if I had a closer mirror, I wouldn't have put so much on. But another thing is that I usually dot foundation on my face and then blend it out. But today I just wanted to get this done quickly. So I just dunked my beauty blender straight into the product on my hand, which is just not the way I usually go. So I think that those two things kind of made it so that I ended up using a little bit more than I normally would. But I think that it came out looking good. I have kind of dry, more like noticeable pores that are kind of dry areas of my face. Um, Kind of on the outside of those labial folds, whatever there's that creases, whatever. Anyway, foundation, if foundation's gonna look like heavy, those spots are where it really looks bad. And I feel like this looked okay. I did not do any powder today, um, just because I thought it looked okay without the powder. I thought it was a nice finish, so I just decided to go with it. and I think it looks nice. It's gonna look a little bit shinier just because I'm under a lot of lights than it would in person. It does, though, I will say, I normally put powder all over my face when I wear this foundation just because it does dry, leaving a very, very slightly tacky finish, and I just hate that. I hate if I've like got an itchy spot on my face and I go to scratch it and it feels like I'm gonna claw off some foundation. That drives me nuts. So anyway, on my eyebrows, I have the Ulta Brow Tint in medium, um, which I like a lot. Even though I have recently dyed my eyebrows, I feel like it's a really nice color. It kind of fills them in almost a little bit, where there's less brow hairs like at the front, and I can create a little bit better of a shape towards the tail. I was sick and I decided to trim my brow hairs, which I hadn't done in a really long time because they are very long and very droopy. And I totally butchered this side. Apparently I took out some like critical brow hairs on the near the tail and it looks so strange. So trying to like adjust that, especially with just a tinted brow gel, is a little tricky. But I do like it a lot. Though I will say, like looking at this now, it really kind of contrasts with the gray, all the gray hair I'm letting like grow out around my face. I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep things like that, but we're not going to push any buttons, buddy. Anyway, I have to stop this now and I will pick this up later. All right, so it's 7 hours later. Everybody is in bed, finally. I don't think I mentioned earlier, but we have, my husband is out of town this past week, so I was like a week into this flu, and he had to go. So I was not, thankfully, I was past the worst of it, but definitely still like super low energy, still major cough, congestion, really feeling lousy. And then home with my 3.5-year-old and my 15-month-old. And it's the first time I've had to do really everything in the day for more than a day. And, normally I'm with them from the morning until my husband gets home at like around 5:30. But now, I'm doing dinner and bedtime by myself as well. And just not ever having that like somebody else can deal with this fighting or help me deal with this fighting or do the timeouts or whatever. It's been so hard. And when it was just the one kiddo, before I had the baby, I never yelled. Never. Now I'm like trying not to yell many, many times a day because I cannot take it when my older kid gets mad and like intentionally hits the baby, knocks the baby over. Like he gets mad and he takes it out on the baby, and it makes me lose my shit totally. Yeah. So anyway, Urban Decay Perversion sample mascara. I did that on the top and the bottom. And for blush, I'm using the blush out of the Rimmel Kate like Sculpting face palette, and it's the medium shade, I think. This color blush I've been liking a lot. I feel like it's not super pink. It's more of a kind of an apricot-y peach situation. It kind of looks pink when I put it on, but I feel like it goes a little bit better with that like mustardy eye situation than a bunch of the other blushes I've been using lately, because that pink just seems to really clash with the like really warm yellowy orange eye look. So I've been liking that blush a lot and just not doing highlight and whatever. So I'm just taking the Desert Sands on my lower lash line again, and I think that's all I'm doing for the eyes. And I see I'm almost towards the end of the video here. So I'm going to put on some lip gloss. It's the NYX Butter Gloss in Creme Brulee. And it doesn't have a ton of color, but I feel like it's an easy kind of nude lip for me. I don't have much color in my lips, and this just kind of evens things out, and the shine is nice, and they're comfortable to wear, and whatever. So anyway, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching and give you another little update while I put some stuff on my face and talked about it. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, whatever below, and I'll see you soon.